What's going on with you guys? You know who it is. It's your boy, John Mike. And today we're going to be talking about 5 reasons why you don't need Ableton for your church situation or whatever the case may be. Yesterday, I did a video on 5 reasons why you do need Ableton. And I'll put that up in the cards. You can check that out down in the description, all those good things like that, to watch the reasons why I think you should get it. But today I'm going to play the devil's advocate, and I'm going to tell you why you don't need to get it. So here's reason number 1. Don't buy an $800 metronome. All right, so story time. I had a friend at a church that played at a very large church, and I went in to kind of check out their setup. They told me they were using Ableton. I walked in, checked out the setup, really great setup, and we got to sit down with Ableton. We started going through it, and they were showing me. So I said, show me your set from Sunday or whatever. And they pulled it up, and it was just clicks. And I'm not talking about click tracks like loops. It was just metronomes. They had set up a metronome for every song that they sung. They had no stems, no drum loops, no production elements, nothing like that. They were just using it as a metronome to keep the band on time. Now, granted, they had a very large band. They had like 3 guitar players, drummer, 2 drummers. They had, organist, keyboard player, all that stuff like that. So they just wanted an element to keep them on time. But what they ended up doing was buying the Suite version, Ableton Live Suite, which is the $799 version of it. They bought that version just to play a metronome. And so that kind of leads me into the point, digging into this point deeper, why you don't need to spend anywhere from $100 to $800 just for a metronome. If you're just running click tracks on Sunday, click tracks meaning metronome or drum loops, if you're just running clicks on Sunday, there's no reason for you to invest in Ableton just to run click tracks. There are plenty of free apps that you can create click tracks in, that you can run click tracks from. They're free. You can load your tracks in there. You can run them from Logic. You can run loops in Reason. You can run loops in Reaper. You can run loops in GarageBand. There's plenty of cheaper options to just run drum loops. Then you can run them in our free app, Prime. You can run them in Prime, free. Doesn't cost you anything. Just upload your loops in there and press play. So there are plenty of other options that you can use, low cost or no cost options, just to run click tracks and keep your band locked. Reason number 2 kind of pulls in a little bit from my story earlier where I talked about the church that had the big band situation. And that is, if you have a large enough band, you really don't need Ableton like to run stems or to run click tracks and stuff like that. If you got a 10-piece band, there's no reason to because you got all the parts covered. You know what I'm saying? So there's no reason to get Ableton to run stems unless there's just something very specialized that you need in the stems in order to play them. You know what I'm saying? So there's no reason, if you got a large enough band, a 5, 6, 7-piece band, to get Ableton just to run click tracks or just to run, stems or whatever. Reason number 3, if you're at a church that is quote unquote spirit led, then you might not want to try to invest in Ableton. And I mean this in the case of, that church, everybody's been to it. You may be playing at that church now where you don't know what you're singing until Sunday morning. You know what I'm saying? Or that church that you come into on Sunday morning, you practice a whole nother set of songs the day before or the morning, or even sometimes the morning of, and then come time for service, they change the whole setup. You've sat down and you've created stems, you've laid out your tracks, and they tell you in the middle of the second song that they're gonna go a whole different route, and all of that work, all of those 15 hours that you spent the entire week creating stems, loops, lining them up, doing all your production elements, and now it all goes to pot. So if you're more in that kind of a ministry that's kind of free flowing, and I'm not talking about like, free flowing in the sense that they they like to jump around the song, because you can do that inside of Ableton. You can jump from parts to part and flow along with them. I mean, like, just for lack of better words, your church ministry, music ministry isn't organized. So if you're not in an organized situation, you might not want to spend that money on Ableton for your situation. Reason number 4 is a very important reason, and it is if you are in a church that is 100% programmed. And I mean that in the sense that you do every song just like the record, exactly from start to finish, the exact length. You got 20 minutes for praise and worship, 25 minutes for 30 minutes for praise and worship. Every song is done exactly the way it's supposed to be done from start to finish. You don't skip sections, you don't jump around, you don't repeat, you don't go off into a war cry or a shout or anything like that. We have to do this set from start to finish just like it is, 100%, no way to budge left or right. We got to do it like this. There is absolutely no reason for you to invest in Ableton just for that situation, because there are a million other DAWs that you can use to run tracks from start to finish. Logic, GarageBand, Studio One, a whole lot of cheaper options than Ableton to run tracks if you're just going left to right on everything you're doing. If that's what you're doing, then I suggest that you don't invest in Ableton just to do that. And number 5 is one of my favorite reasons, and that is if you don't plan to max it out. Ableton is a wonderful beast in the sense that you can do almost anything that you can think of musically within this app. You can do it. I mean, you can program lights, you can program lyrics, you can control your fog machines, you can do myriad of things. If it can be connected to MIDI or can read MIDI, or you can do all of those things like that, all within Ableton. If you can think it, you can make it happen. So if you're not planning to like max it all the way out, I mean, learn every nook and cranny of this software, or any software for that matter. If you're not really willing to put in the work and really like max out your investment, then there's no reason for you to invest in something that you're not going to use to its full potential. You don't buy a car to stick it in the driveway and look at it and wash it and change the oil in it and do all those things, and you never pull it out, put it on the highway and drive it up to 70 miles an hour. The car is not living up to its potential. And I say the same thing about people that are using Ableton for any of these previous reasons that I talked about. So you got to make sure that you max it out, that you're using it to your benefit. Don't go buy Ableton just because somebody said that you got to have it. But if you do decide to get Ableton and you do decide to max it out and go down those roads, I have a lovely, amazing 10-hour course on Ableton that you can check out. I'll put the link up in the cards, down in the description, all those things like that. It's 10 full hours on Ableton. I cover it from start to finish. I also have a ton of videos here on this channel where I talk about Ableton in ways that I use it and ways that I've used it over the years, and how I incorporate it into my church services, concerts, all of those things like that. So I hope this video helped you, blessed you, gave you some reasons not to buy Ableton, or maybe gave you some reasons to buy Ableton. All right, so we'll talk to you guys on the next video. I'm out. You know how we do. Like, share, comment, subscribe. I'm out. Holla at your boy.